And welcome to another Tyler and Eli Fantasy Football Tips podcast. This is Season 3, Episode 39. I am your host, Tyler Belosky.
And I'm your other host, Eli Belosky.
Eli, we are finally getting the season started off a little earlier this year. We got some surprises coming up later in the summer, but we did one back during draft time, free agent time, but now we're doing every week on the weekends. Eli, I'm pumped for this season.
Yeah, it's going to be really good, especially with the new rookies that have come in the 18 draft class.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about them. Couple of them tonight. Once we get into our rankings, we'll talk about them more. But Eli, our third season, I think every year you're getting stronger in your fantasy knowledge, just your football knowledge in general, and you got your teams going. So I'm pumped for this season.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. We got 3 teams. Well, we each have one team together. I have my own team, and then we have our own team in Scott Fishbowl League.
No, not yet. We haven't got.
Not yet.
Yeah, we haven't got an invite yet, Scott. So let's send that out there. We got about 15, 16 days to go. So let's get that invite, Scott. No, just kidding. But Scott Fishbowl League is awesome. We played in it last year. I'm in a couple other leagues coming up later this year. We'll talk about them more later. But Eli, let's get into our podcast. Again, Eli's 10. I'm 36. I've been doing fantasy for about 20 years. This is Eli's third year. He may be 10, but he knows what he's talking about. And our motto for the show is we tell how it is. All right? We don't really get into too much stats. We don't really, break it down. We don't care how many times he catches the ball when he eats Fruit Loops versus how many times he catches the ball when he has pancakes. We don't break down numbers. If it's important, we'll do it, but we just tell how it is. We do the eyeball test. We tell you to start them. We tell you to sit them, and that's it.
Yeah, right? Only if they're breathtaking stats, then we'll mention them. Yeah. But if they're just he only dropped 3 passes last game, but he dropped 10 this game, then we're not really going to mention that.
Yeah, and sometimes we talk about ADP, average draft position, but guys, you guys know what you're doing. We're just here to have some fun, break it down for you straight up. We'll go to about 30 to 45 minutes, get in, get out, and tell how it is. All right, so we have our things we call nines. If you're new to the show, it's news, info, notes, entertainment, and emails and stats, and cool stats, that is. And that is presented by draftingsleepers.com. It's a social networking for fantasy sports. They do baseball, basketball, hockey, football. You can find us there at the Tyler and Eli Fantasy Football Tips podcast. You put polls up there as questions. We put our podcast up there. It's an awesome site. It's our second year teaming up with them, and they're helping us out with our nines. Our first one is Julian Edelman. Possibly will be suspended for 4 games for enhanced drugs, Eli.
Yeah, but we all know the Patriots. They're going to try and deny it and try and get out of that suspension. At least a couple games.
Yeah, he'll probably get it reduced to 3, maybe 2, but unfortunately, I love Edelman. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
It kind of surprised me that he had his name hooked with PEDs, but it is what it is. Second one is Jameson Winston. This is not a surprise. He is suspended 3 games for some off-the-field stuff that I don't really want to touch on, but it's definitely not a good choice. Martavis Bryant, same thing. He got us caught up with some negative stuff. Possible suspension. They don't know how long, if he is even suspended.
He gets suspended every year, though. It's really sad because he's a great player.
You're right. He did great for the Steelers, and they cut him. But
it was just a headache for them.
Exactly. Hopefully he gets it back together and can get back on the field. Number 4, Andrew Luck finally throws a football, a real football. It's high school football, but it's better than the Nerf ball.
Yeah, he's been throwing Nerf balls for a while.
So hopefully that will do good for him, or do good for him. That's good English right there. Hopefully that will work out for him, and we'll talk about him a little bit more later tonight as we break down the AFC by players and teams. San Diego Charger tight end Hunter Henry is out for the season with a torn ACL. This is kind of older news, but we're playing catch-up. And so he's done. So get him off your team. Don't worry about drafting him. For Dynasty, keep him on your team, though. Number 6, Brandon Marshall signed with the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that add-on to the Seahawks. It's going to do real good for them. Because finally, Russell Wilson will have 2 good targets in Seattle, and then they'll take the pressure off of Doug Baldwin on defense.
You said 2 good receivers. You're talking about Tyler Lockett?
No.
Well, who's the second?
Tyler Lockett isn't even on the Seahawks anymore.
Yeah, he is. He's the number.
No.
He's the probably.
Oh no, Jermaine Kearse went to the.
Tyler Lockett probably was the number 1 receiver there in Seattle, right?
It's Doug Baldwin.
We don't speak that name.
Brandon Marshall.
We don't speak that name on this podcast, Doug Baldwin. But we'll touch more about him next week. And the last one for our Nines is Zay Jones for the Buffalo Bills. He had knee surgery last month, so hopefully he can be ready to go for training camp in a couple weeks. If he can get his head straight. He got caught up in some stuff earlier.
Yeah, he went to jail for vandalism, I think.
Something, yeah. It wasn't good, but hopefully he gets straightened out, and because they need him in Buffalo. They only have Kelvin Benjamin, and we'll talk about that in a couple minutes.
Oh, and Jordan Matthews, I think, is coming back.
He would come back for the Bills, but he got let go, and now he's with the Patriots.
Of course, everyone goes to the Patriots.
Right. Eli's a little rusty. We are coming off of winter break here. I think the last snowflake finally thawed here in Oswego, so we're out of hibernation here and ready to go. So that was our Nines presented by DraftKingSleepers.com. Again, sign up. It's free to sign up. They're wonderful guys out there. They win awards for their websites, so check them out. As we said, our main topic tonight is the AFC preview. We're going to go team by team, division by division, tell you the players who to start, where to draft them at, or a rough estimate where to draft them. This is one of our favorite podcasts to do because it's a little early, but, things happen, injuries happen. We want to make sure you guys are ready to go for your drafts coming up in August. So we're going to kick it off for the AFC East and the Patriots. I'll go first, Eli. Obviously, quarterback Tom Brady. You want to draft him as your starting quarterback.
Are you sure? I think you should not even draft him.
Don't even draft him? I think it's probably a good idea because, he's only 800 years old. No, he's about 40.
Yeah, he's only 41 years. Well, he's turning 41.
Yeah.
But seriously, I'd draft him for a starter, obviously.
Yeah, he's a starter. He's probably going to be the second or third quarterback off the board. I've seen him going a little bit in the 3rd round. I'd wait until at least the 4th round if you like to draft quarterbacks early. I know the big thing now is draft him after the 8th round so you can pick up a Matthew Stafford, but I want points, so I'm going to get Tom Brady if I can.
Yeah, and we'll touch up on that when we do our mock draft episodes.
Yeah, definitely. All right, running backs is Rex Burkhead, Sony Michel, rookie, and James White are the 3 main running backs there in New England. Burkhead, I would pick him up in the 7th round or later. I think he'd be a good flex play as a bye-week filler also. Sony Michel, again, he's a rookie. Anywhere after the 7th round, I would take him as a flex bye-week filler. I have seen him go in the 4th or 5th round because
that's way too early.
It is
for me. Just because he's a rookie, you can't put that much trust in a rookie, especially with a crowded backfield like New England.
Exactly. He's coming into New England. He fumbles a lot, so that's going to hurt him because Belichick does not like fumblers. If he fumbled, he's already fumbled once in OTAs a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
so
that's not a good impression.
Yeah, that's not a good start. And then the last one is James White. Anywhere after the 12th round, keep him on your bench just in case one of those guys go down. We do have a question on Twitter, Eli, from Matt Okada. You can find him at the Fantasy. I can't pronounce that word. Fantasy Samurai, not Samurai, Sensei. Fantasy Sensei. Sorry, Matt. Matt and I, we've been talking for the last couple of weeks. He has his own podcast. It's called the Red Shirts Podcast. I'm sorry, Matt. But Matt Okada, you can find him at Fantasy Sensei. His question, Eli, is what do you think are the Patriots running backs and where would you draft them at their prices, and who would you actually start? So we kind of touched on it a little bit in the 7th round, most likely. But who would you want to start on your team?
I'd switch. I wouldn't start James White. I'm not touching him. But Burkhead and Sony Michel, I'd probably play each the first 4 weeks, each 2 weeks starting, and then I'll take it from there. Whoever has the most points in those 2 weeks.
Yeah, I like Burkhead because he's going to be the goal line back. He proved it there in the playoffs and definitely in the Super Bowl. That he puts his head down and runs people over. Michael will probably be maybe between the 20s, and James White's the pass catching running back.
I don't know. Sonny Michael could take over that third down running back.
He definitely could. But I would start Burkhead first, and then and draft the other two guys in case there's an injury, and use them as bye-week fillers. Matt Okada, he is from the Red Shirts Fantasy Football Podcast. It's an awesome podcast. It's new this year. There's 4 hosts. They're a great podcast. So, Matt, hopefully we answered your question. I would take all of them after the 7th round personally and start Burkhead. Eli, you're starting...
I don't know. I'd have to see, like, if I pick them up from free agency somehow or get them in a trade, I'd look at their stats and then based on, because that's really the tiebreaker for us is like last week's stats.
Yeah.
Like, and it's really close for this one.
Yeah. All right. So wide receiver Julian Edelman. Again, we said he was suspended for the first 4 games. Because of that, I'm taking him after the 8th round as a flex. If he gets reduced, maybe the 7th round, still keep him as a flex, maybe a week 2, but you have to wait 4 games anyways. He's definitely a steal now or a sleeper because everyone's going to be scared of those 4 games. So you can definitely get Edelman late. Jordan Matthews, however, I would take him anywhere probably after the 9th round to get those first 4 games as a flex, and definitely put him on your bench. But after those first 4 games, I think you could go ahead and drop him or even try to go ahead and trade him. And this is a good place to stop and plug my articles I write for AcrossTheFantasyPond.com. Rob is an amazing podcaster also, Across the Fantasy Pond podcast. I'm teaming up with him and a whole bunch of other writers there, and we're writing articles, pumping them out at AcrossTheFantasyPond.com. I wrote a great article about the wide receivers in New England. So check that out. Another one is Chris Hogan. Anywhere after the 6th round as a week number 2 flex. He's going to get a lot of targets, a lot of points, PPR points. I would even take him after the 6th, even if Edelman wasn't suspended. I think he's going to be the week number 1 receiver in New England.
Yeah, I think the Patriots have something pretty good going with their wide receiver core. They like every year they drop one or two guys and then pick up 1 or 2 guys. It like keeps the system going.
Yeah,
they keep guys like Edelman and Hogan.
Yeah,
I think they still have Mitchell.
Yep, they have Malcolm Mitchell. He's kind of a weak play. Same with they have Kenny Britt, not really worth anything in fantasy.
And they still have Philip Dorsett, I think.
Yeah, at least in redraft. They did get rid of Cooks. They got rid of Danny and Amendola. They're no longer there.
Yeah.
Moving on to Gronk. Obviously, the tight end Gronk. I'd pick him up as a starter. You're not going
to bench Gronk unless he's hurt.
And I would try to get him after the 3rd round. I've been doing a couple mock drafts here and there, and I've getting him in the 3rd round if you like to take tight ends early. I have seen him go in the 2nd. But anywhere after the 3rd round, I'd definitely go after him if you like tight ends early. All right, Eli, who do you got for the Bills?
All right, for the Bills, the quarterbacks, I'm not drafting any of the Bills' quarterbacks until they prove themselves, just because Tyrod's not there anymore. I went to the Browns, and that's just so sad. But
Cool.
Josh Allen and A.J. McCarron, I'm not drafting just because A.J. McCarron hasn't really proved himself yet, being behind Andy Dalton in Cincinnati. And Josh Allen's a rookie, so I'm not going to draft him, especially with the Buffalo receiving core, with Zay Jones probably not going to start the first few games.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not going to take any of those quarterbacks in Buffalo. Other than Josh Allen, if you play Dynasty, he would be a good person to stash on your bench because he may get into the season later this year once the Bills decide not to play football anymore. Even though they made the playoffs this year, a lot of people thinking they're not even going to make 500.
I think they will. I think a lot of people think last year was a fluke year, but I don't think it was. It was. They'll probably be over 500 this year.
I could see that too. I could see them being right around like 9-7. We do have a question, Eli, from the Dynasty Dads on Twitter, at Dynasty Dads. They're another great podcast I listen to. Those guys are funny. They're great. The question is, Eli, they want to know, would Josh Allen be the starter by week 5?
I think he will be. I think unless AJ McCarron goes like 5-0 or something, or even 4-1, I think he's definitely going to be starter by week 5.
I would have to disagree. I think he's not starting until either the bye week and the record isn't above 500, or they wait until they go past like week 10 and they're not above 500. So I say after week 5. Eli says before week 5, right?
Well, like week 4 or 5, definitely not week 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, based on the record and how AJ, not so much the record, but how AJ's doing.
Yeah,
right?
like if he's throwing interceptions but they're still winning, then I think they'll take him out and put Josh Allen in.
Yeah, because you can't have Nathan Peterman throwing 20 touchdowns. 21 because he just threw one now. All right, who you got running back?
Running back's LaShawn McCoy. I mean, he's definitely going to be your number one. Well, he's definitely going to start, but I would take him as my number one as long as I have like someone to back him up. Like Mark Ingram I would be fine with that. Even Jay Ajayi.
Yeah, so he's like a week 1 strong 2 running back.
Yeah.
So if you take like a Kareem Hunt in the first, you could back him up with a LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah, that I would take that, or Alvin Kamara, or Leonard Fournette, or someone like that.
Yep.
And I'm taking him early 3rd round, maybe even like late 3rd round if he's still there. Which I could definitely see him falling to like the late 3rd round.
Yeah, that's where I've been seeing him. Someplace in the 3rd round, I've seen him go in there.
Yeah, anywhere in the 3rd round, unless there's someone like way better, like. Even Gronk. I'd probably take Gronk over McCoy as long as I have a number 1 running back.
And it all depends, I think, how close you are to the flip.
That's true, yeah. Calvin Benjamin, he's going to go in the 9th round. He's not really going to start for me on a weekly basis. He's going to be like my bye-week filler. I wouldn't start him unless someone's like injured or it's their bye week. And Zay Jones, I'm not drafting. I would pick him up or get a trade for him, if anything. And he's just a bye-week filler. I wouldn't really start him that much. And then Charles Clay, again, just a bye-week filler. I would draft him like 10th, 11th round, anywhere near that.
Yeah, if Tyrod Taylor was still there, I'd go after him. But since he's not, who knows what AJ or Josh are going to be looking for. All right, we're going to move on to the Jets and Josh McNown. He's a bye-week filler for me, so I probably won't be drafting him. Same with Sam Darnold. I'm not drafting him unless I'm in a dynasty league. I know that Josh put up pretty good numbers last year, but I don't want anything to do with him. Running backs, Isaiah Correll. I would definitely take him as a weak running back 2 if you go really heavy wide receivers. Anywhere after the 9th round is probably a good place to pick him up. Put him on your bench, get away for an injury. Same with Bilal Powell. Anywhere after the 12th, put him on your bench and just stash him for injuries. Wide receivers, Robbie Anderson and Quincy Enunwa. Anywhere after the 10th or 11th round as bye-week fillers, dump them on your bench and just wait for injuries as long as they don't get suspended or hurt.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they get either hurt or suspended, like you said.
Yep. All right, we're still in the East with the Dolphins.
Ryan Tannehill, I'm not going to draft. He just gets injured all the time. He's too injury prone. And then Frank Gore, he's going anywhere from the 10th round to the 12th round for me, and I'm just gonna stash him on my bench. And Kenyon Drake, same thing. He's not he'd be like a week 2, but I wouldn't really have him as my 2. Maybe a flex, but other than that, just stash him on your bench. He'll go like in the 7th round probably.
Yeah, a lot of people like him. I've seen him go as early as the 5th round, but you got Frank Gore there. I like Frank Gore. I think Gore is going to be the starter this year. I don't like Drake at all. Really, I'm not drafting anyone from the Dolphins if I don't have to. I mean, maybe Gore as a bench filler for a bye week, but we can keep going or we can just skip it. Well, go to the receivers. We got to talk about them.
Yeah. Danny Amendola, again, he's just a bye week filler. Just stash him on your bench. But Devontae Parker, I'd say he's a flex bench. I'd definitely start him, play the matchups with your other wide receivers.
Yeah, he could be a week 2 if you go running back heavy, like 3-4 running backs in the first couple rounds. then he'd be a weak wide receiver 2. But that'd be a really bad draft plan.
Yeah. You have to, and what I like to do is I like to get like one receiver, one running back, another receiver, another running back. Just keep alternating with that until you have to get like quarterbacks and tight ends.
Yep, and that's why you came in second last year in our league.
Hey, you came in third. I placed.
That's what I'm saying. That your draft strategy worked. You came in third, but we'll do that for another episode.
Okay. Kenny Stills, a flex bench. I mean, with all the wide receivers in Miami, it would be hard to put him as a starter, so flex bench really is.
Yeah. Oh, tight end Mike Gesicki. He's a rookie. I wouldn't even worry about drafting him unless you're in a dynasty league.
Unless he starts blowing up during the season, then you can pick him up and.
Yeah, that's a bye week filler, but it's Ryan Tannehill throwing the ball, so probably not. All right, moving on to the AFC North, the Cleveland Browns. Everyone has high hopes for them. They revamped the whole offense. They've turned over a new leaf. They're still going to win 3 games.
Yeah.
I have them winning 3 games: Jets, Raiders, and I think the Bucs. That's all I have them winning this year.
Yeah,
maybe squeeze out a 4th game against the Ravens, or 2 games in the Ravens. But
like the other half of the people are saying, they're the Cleveland Browns. They're gonna find some way to mess it up.
Yep, and they will. All right, so Tyrod Taylor, I have him going as after the 9th round as a week number 1 starter. If you want to draft him, go for it, but be ready to stream a quarterback. I do, however, think he's going to have 3,500, 3,600 plus yards with 25 touchdowns. He could end up as a quarterback 1. That means a top 12 quarterback at the end of the season. I think I have high hopes for him because he can do it on the ground too. So if you take him, be ready to stream. Maybe team him up with a Ryan Tannehill or an Andy Dalton type of quarterback because you want to get that streaming.
Yeah, like Matt Stafford or someone like that. Even like Matt Ryan or Matt Stafford.
Or even Big Ben that we'll talk about soon.
Yeah.
All right, Baker Mayfield, I'm not drafting him unless I'm in a dynasty league. I don't think he sees the field until Tyrod either gets hurt or they're below 500. Running backs Carlos Hyde, I'm taking in the 8th round or later. He could be a week 2 running back for you, so put him on your bench. Duke Johnson, I could see him as also in the 8th, 9th round. As a week 2 running back, he's a good pass catcher running back, so PPR points. There you go. Put him on your bench. And as far as Nick Chubb, the rookie, a lot of people love him. I'm not high.
I'm one of those people. I'm so excited about him.
Are you taking him over Duke Johnson? Would you draft him over Duke Johnson?
I don't know. That's a tough choice. Probably not. But if he's there in I don't know. If he's there in the 10th or 11th round, I'm definitely going to take him.
Yeah, put him on
your bench. But I know he's not going to last that long.
Yeah, because it's the rookie hype. We'll definitely take him in your dynasty league. But I would draft him after the 10th, 11th round, put him on your bench, wait for an injury. He could steal some goal line touches from Carlos Hyde. He needs to work on his pass catching. We do have a question from Drafting Sleepers. And before I get to that, Eli, why don't you talk about Jarvis Landry real quick?
Jarvis Landry, he's a week 1 strong 2, definitely a strong 2.
All right, hold on. We'll go back to the question. Pizza Pete on DraftingSleepers.com, Pizza Pete asks, Eli, who do you want, Carlos Hyde or Nick Chubb?
It's not really a competition. Definitely Carlos Hyde. He's just more experienced, and he's proved himself way more. Because Nick Chubb is still a rookie, not used to the very physical defenses in the NFL. So definitely Carlos Hyde. Pete.
Yeah, I agree with that. Hyde's coming off of signing a 2-3-year contract in Cleveland, out of San Francisco. Again, like you said, he's a veteran. They didn't bring him in for no reason. So
they didn't bring him in to sit on the bench.
Exactly. So, Pizza Pete, thank you so much for asking that question on Sleepers.com, and hopefully we answered the question for you. If it's redraft, take him. If it's dynasty, take Chubb, obviously. All right, Jarvis Landry again. Like Eli said, he's a week number 1 wide receiver. He's a strong 2. If you want him, if you get like OBJ or Julio Jones, pick him up as your number 2.
I'd take that team.
Oh, that'd be a great team. If you have him as your week number 1, you better have some good running backs ahead of him, like Gordon and LaShawn McCoy. That would be a good combination to have up with Jarvis Landry. Josh Gordon's the same thing. He's a week 2, strong 3. I would take him after the 4th round. I would take Jarvis Landry after the 2nd round. However, I've seen both of them go later. I think Josh Gordon probably goes after the 5th or 6th round. Landry goes after like the 7th, 8th. I think that's too low for them. I would try to steal them a little bit higher.
Yeah.
And then tight end David Njoku. He's going to be a strong number 1 tight end because Tyrod Taylor likes the tight end. So if you can get him early, I mean, that may be a reach. So I would wait until at least after the 9th round to get Njoku.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to the Steelers. Big Ben, obviously, he's going to be a quarterback number 1. I'd wait until the 7th round to pick him up. I wouldn't draft him high, especially when there are other non-quarterbacks to draft.
Exactly.
Like, there are way better players than Big Ben.
Yeah, you're not going to take him with their Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady's or Deshaun Watson's. He's one of those lower and wait for...
Kind of a sleeper, almost.
Yeah, wait for the...
Based on, like, draft position.
Yeah, wait for, like, the later rounds.
Yeah. Le'Veon Bell, obviously, and Antonio Brown, you're going to draft first round as your RB and wide receiver 1s. Both.
Yeah, they're both going anywhere in the top 5.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No doubt. And Juju Smith-Schuster, he's a very solid flex. I mean, I'd even take him as my 2. But in drafts I'm seeing, he's like the farthest he's fallen is like the early 5th round. So if you can get him in like the 4th round, that'd be pretty nice. That'd be a good steal.
Yeah, team him up with I wouldn't team him up with Antonio Brown because I don't like the combination of the same team. But team him up with OBJ, AJ Green, Devontae Adams, and yeah, that'd be great.
Even Julio.
Yeah, or Keenan Allen. That'd be a great 1-2 punch right there for your receivers.
Yeah, Michael Thomas. We can just keep naming wide receivers all day.
Yeah, and we will in our wide receiver show.
Yeah. Vance McDonald's and Jesse James, they're both bench tight ends. I'm definitely not going to start them on a weekly basis. Just wait for an injury or a bye week and definitely start them. They're giant sleeper tight ends.
Yeah, they're good streaming tight ends too. I think Vance McDonald's getting more of the starting role, but they stream them. They're streaming tight ends. All right, moving on to the Cincinnati Bengals. And Andy Dalton is the quarterback, and I'm taking him after the 9th round. Probably just as a streamer. I'm not drafting him. He's just a bye-week filler, streamer type guy. Running backs Joe Mixon. He's going as high as the 3rd round. I don't want him, so I'm going to wait until after the 4th or 5th round if I have to take him as a running back 2.
Yeah, like if he falls to the 5th round, I'm definitely going to take him, but he's not. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And I just don't have that much trust in him based on last year. And I think
injuries,
the year before.
Oh, this is his 2nd year, but his injuries.
Oh, yeah.
Gio Bernard, however, I'm going to draft him after the 9th round, put him on my bench, wait for Joe Mixon to get hurt again, and he's going to be the starter again. I like Gio Bernard. This will be my last year liking him if he can't get the job done. This is my last year.
I really don't think he's good. I think you just overrate him.
I do. I probably do, but
I used to too, though. It's not just him. I used to be crazy for him, and then we drafted him in one of our leagues, and we were terrible.
Yeah, he was horrible.
Well, he was terrible.
Yeah, he was horrible. All right, wide receiver AJ Green. Obviously, taking him as your wide receiver 1, late round, early 2nd. I've been getting him on the flip, teaming him up with Michael Thomas. I think it's a great pair. So anywhere late round, early 2nd. John Ross. I do have an article about John Ross as a super sleeper. He's coming off an injury. So probably just not draft him, but just keep an eye on him, watch his stats, watch his play.
Yeah, he's the fastest guy in the league.
He's up there. He's
definitely, he's like top 5.
Top 5, yeah. Tight ends, Tyler Eifert and Tyler Kroft. Again, they're probably both streaming tight ends. Maybe a weak start for Tyler Eifert. He's coming off major injuries. But both of them are probably streamer bye-week filler tight ends.
Yeah.
All right, Eli, we got to get moving on this. So AFC South.
We never...
Oh, yeah, we got to do the Ravens. Yeah, they're the Ravens. Who you got?
Yeah. Joe Flacco and Lamar Jackson. In redrafts, I'm definitely not taking them. But in Dynasty, I'm going to take Lamar Jackson because one way or another, Joe Flacco is going to leave the team, whether it's retirement, they cut him, or trades. And Lamar Jackson's going to step up and get the job done. He's going to play in preseason. He's going to do great. So I'm drafting him in Dynasty.
He's a better Michael Vick. That's what they're saying. He's a better Michael Vick.
I don't know better, but
Well,
I could
accuracy-wise.
compare him.
Yeah, accuracy-wise.
I could compare him to Michael Vick. Alex Collins, he's a strong flex week 2, and 5th round. I'm gonna draft him in. He's not really up there for me, but if he's there in like the 5th or 6th rounds, I'm gonna take him.
I love Alex Collins this year. He did amazing the last couple games of the season last year. He's gonna break out. He has a couple guys behind him trying to fight for position. We're not gonna mention them tonight because I'm not drafting them. But I love Alex Collins as a 2 running back. Team him up with like a Alvin Kamara, and it'd be a great running back duel.
Maybe. Michael Crabtree, he's going in the 6th round, maybe even 5th if you want to take that risks. He's a flex for me. I've been getting him as a flex in a lot of my mock drafts, and I'll take him as a flex. He's a pretty good flex with Joe Flacco. And then Willie Snead also coming in, a new addition. And he would also be a flex for me, going in the like the 7th round probably.
Willie Snead, yeah, a lot of people he's not on a lot of people's watch list right now, but
I still think he's gonna do good.
I mean,
he's got Joe Flacco. The number 1 there is only Michael Crabtree, unlike Michael Thomas.
And it stinks too because last year he did horrible in New Orleans, so I think that's why a lot of people are waiting on him. So I think he'd be one of those sleeper guys. Wait for week 2 or 3 to pick him up off the free agents.
Yeah. And the tight ends there, Hayden Hurst and Mark Andrews. I'm not going to draft them. But in Dynasty, I will, just because they're really young, and when Lamar Jackson steps up, they're going to get a lot of catches.
Yeah.
Even this year, they might get a lot of fire.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely watch them throughout the season, maybe some streaming or bye-week filler type guys. But the rookies, with Flacco throwing to them, I really wouldn't touch them so much. All right, the AFC South, Jacksonville Jaguars, Blake Bortles, anywhere after the 8th round as a week number 1. He does put up amazing fantasy points, but because he can't do it in real life, that's what scares people off. And so I don't want anything to do with him, even though I know when I've talked to Brandon Marion Lee from Her Fantasy Football, she loves him. She said she's going to draft him as early as she can as long as it's a good pick. She loves him. I don't like him. I guess maybe
I'll take him as a streaming quarterback.
As a streaming quarterback, yeah. Team him up with maybe Tyrod, and that'd be a great 1-2 punch.
Even a backup. I'd love Blake Bortles as my backup.
Sure. All right, running backs Leonard Fournette. Obviously, you're going to take him in the 1st, 2nd round as the latest. If he falls that late, as your RB1, he's going to get a ton of touches. He can catch the ball. He can definitely run the ball up the middle. He's going to get probably 10 to 12 touchdowns this year, I think.
Oh, yeah, he'll get a lot of touchdowns because he's, like, the only one there.
Yeah, they got a couple of the guys, but nothing that's going to really chip away his touches. I'm actually eyeing him a lot this year. I didn't like him too much last year being a rookie, but this year I love him. Wide receivers Marcus Lee, D.D. Westbrook, and Dante Moncrief anywhere after the 8th round. Marcus Lee's kind of the number 1 wide receiver there, so maybe if you want to reach a little bit in the 6th or 7th as your week 2 receiver flex, maybe strong flex. But the other guys, Westbrook and Moncrief, you may not even want to draft them. Wait for waiver wire pickups. Watch the first couple of weeks.
I'm not going to draft D.D. He's just too unpredictable, inconsistent.
Yeah, I wish Moncrief didn't go there because they have like 7 good semi-good wide receivers. I wish he would have fell someplace else as a free agent. I don't know why.
Semi-good wide receivers.
I don't know what he was thinking going to Jacksonville. And tight end Austin Seferian-Jenkins. I'm not really going to draft him this year. Maybe as a streamer. But for me, I'm not drafting Jenkins. He's just so inconsistent every year. Maybe it's because he played for the Jets for so long, but I don't like him at all.
And the Buccaneers before Jameis Winston. Yeah. Moving on to the Colts, Andrew Luck. I'm not drafting him this year only because he's still injured. He hasn't done any training camp, and I'm not touching him unless he comes in the middle of the season. Then I'm gonna pick him up probably on waiver wires.
Yeah.
But other than, I'm definitely not touching him for the draft.
I guess he should be ready to go. They're saying by week 1, but who knows? And that's going to affect the whole rest of the team. Marlon Mack's there as the running back. I don't know if I want him or not. Maybe as a bench spot.
Yeah.
T.Y. Hilton's up in the air because who's the quarterback? Jacoby Brissett? I don't want that.
He actually did pretty solid last year, though.
Yeah, he wasn't too. In real life.
In real life he did,
Yeah.
but he did not show up in fantasy.
Yeah, Jack Doyle, Eric Ebron, tight ends. I mean, unless I guess they're escape valves, but they're same player. I mean, you got two good tight ends in a sense. So the Colts are up in the air. The Colts and Dolphins, I want nothing to do with unless Luck plays.
Yeah, if Luck does not play, then their whole season is gonna be under 500.
Yeah, and after that, I'm gonna just drop everyone, try to trade Hilton if I even draft him. I don't want him unless Andrew Luck is there.
Yeah.
So that's your Colts recap. Sorry, it was fast and small, but that's what it is. The Colts will go if Luck goes. Luck doesn't go, don't worry about the Colts.
Yeah.
Unless you want to trade or draft Hilton and trade him because it's Hilton. Trade the name, but that's about it. All right, the Houston Texans, quarterback Deshaun Watson. He is definitely a quarterback number 1. Anywhere after the 4th round would be ideal. I have seen him go in the 3rd round, but that's just because people love him so much because he can run and throw. Lamar Miller is your running back there in Houston. Anywhere after the 7th round as a week 2 flex. Definitely draft him and put him on your bench. I mean, if you want to team him up with like a Leonard Fournette as your week 2, then go for it. Wide receivers, DeAndre Hopkins. I obviously get him in the 1st round. He's your number 1 wide receiver. Anywhere in 6th, 7th pick I've seen him as early as 2. So it all depends on how much you love Hopkins. Will Fuller. I love Will Fuller if he can stay healthy. So I'm going to take him after the 7th round as a week 2. That's flex. He's probably a flex.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to take 4 or 5 running backs ahead of him. So, yeah, put Will Fuller as a flex, and they don't have a tight end to name, so we're not going to worry about tight ends.
Yeah. For the Titans, Marcus Mariota, he's probably only a bye-week filler, maybe a stream quarterback, but I'm not taking him as my starter. Anywhere after the 10th round for me. Derrick Henry and Dion Lewis, both after the 6th round. They're like week 2 flexes for me. They're not really going to do much.
They're going to battle each other.
Yeah, that's why I don't think they're going to.
Henry's going to be the pound it up the middle, maybe some goal lines. Lewis is going to be a 3rd down pass catching back like he was in New England.
Yeah,
so,
but DeMarco Murray and Dez Bryant, they're still in free agency.
Yep.
I can't believe it. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Moving on, Corey Davis. He's a week 2 flex for me. Probably only a flex.
Yeah, people love him, but he's so inconsistent all the time.
He's like in real life he's kind of consistent, but
you know what it is?
Fantasy-wise, he's just like he goes way up for 2 weeks, then for the rest of the season, and he's terrible.
It's because of Marcus Mariota.
Yeah,
I think
it's
Corey
him.
Davis.
He's so inconsistent.
Yeah, it's Corey Davis and Rashard Matthews are good receivers. They just don't have a quarterback, and I feel so bad for them because
Same with
them.
Delaney Walker.
Yeah.
I mean, he would be like a top 5 tight end if he had someone like Deshaun Watson or like Eli Manning even.
Yeah, they need
if he went to the Steelers, that'd be awesome.
or Big Ben goes to the Titans.
No.
They just need a quarterback. That's the thing. They need someone better than Marcus Mariota.
Yeah,
He's
that's
not the
true.
answer. Realistically, they should have traded up, get one of those Josh Allens or Sam Darnold type of quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think they traded back for someone though.
But no one worth drafting.
Yeah.
All right. Is that it for the South? I think it is. Jaguars, Colts. Yep. All right. So going on to the AFC West, the Chiefs also did a little upgrading in the offense. They got rid of Alex Smith, and they're going to go with 2nd-year Patrick Mahomes. People love him. People are taking him in Jimmy Garoppolo in the first 5 to 6, 7 quarterbacks taken off the board.
Don't do that, guys. That's not a good choice.
He's played 1, maybe 2 games, and he can throw the ball
starting games.
Yeah, he can throw the ball hard
season.
and has some semi-good accuracy, but I need more proof. So I'm not drafting him. If I would, though, I'd take him after the 7th round. But I would use him as a streamer myself. Kareem Hunt, we know the story. Great rookie season, led their league in rushing. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's accurate.
It's not last year was not a fluke, guys. It was real. It's going to happen again this year. Maybe not the same exact thing, but it's going to happen again.
It's a fluke because Spencer Ware was hurt. Because Spencer Ware was supposed to be the starting running back, but because Ware got hurt, Kareem stepped up and did the job.
Yeah.
His performance, it wasn't a fluke. It's the fact that he got the job because Ware got hurt.
Yeah.
So who knows what the story would be like this year? Spencer
they're
Ware.
They're gonna start him. The Kareem Hunt, that is. They're gonna start him as their number one. Ware coming up, behind him, and he's just gonna be a bench just because he's not gonna be the number one.
Yeah,
there.
Pick him up on your bench, or just watch out for how many touches he gets every week. That is Spencer Ware. That is Kareem Hunt's your number one running back, late first, early second round.
Yeah.
Wide receivers: Tariq Hill, Sammy Watkins. Anywhere after the 6th, 7th round is a weak 2 strong flex positions. Depends on how many receivers you have beforehand. And obviously, Travis Kelce, tight end. Anywhere after the 3rd round, he's going to be a top 5 tight end all year.
Yeah, I saw something. It said that Gronk's time as being the number one tight end is over, and now it's Kelce's turn.
Kelce, Ertz.
Yeah, Ertz. Yep. Yeah, those guys.
Top 3 guys. Yep. But I think you're right. Well, Gronk's always hurt. He's getting older.
Yeah.
He says
Same
himself.
with Kelce, though. He's like...
Football years old.
Yeah, he's only like 30.
He's less than 30. But. All right, Raiders.
Really?
Raiders.
Derek Carr, he's only a number 2 for me. He's not really going to be a starter unless someone gets injured or it's a bye week.
He's a streamer.
Yeah, definitely. Marshawn Lynch and Doug Martin, they're both going to be benches. I don't really trust either of them just because they're old and injury-prone.
That's right there. I like Marshawn Lynch. I liked him last year. I think he's going to be better this year because he's got a full season in because he took that year off and then came back. But you're right. He is older. I would use him as a bench. I would pick him up as a bench, though.
Yeah, definitely not, like, early. Like,
anywhere after the 7th round for both of them.
Yeah,
Doug Martin maybe after the 11th, 12th round.
Yeah. Moving on to wide receivers, Amari Cooper. He's a week 1 strong 2 for me. He'll definitely produce points. And I can't believe that Jordy Nelson went to the Oakland Raiders. It was so... I don't know. I was so excited. And he's like... a strong flex. I'll have him on my bench. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think he's gonna tear it. A lot of people think they're scared because he's coming off of ACL. But it's Jordy Nelson. He's gonna be that under the radar, 7 to 10 catches every game, 100 yards, 1 or 2 touchdowns. He's not going to fly down the field anymore. He doesn't have to. He's like Cooper there, and if Brian doesn't get...
And whenever he gets tired, he gets injured, it seems like. Yep. Like, whenever he's flying down the field, he gets injured.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to do that. Cooper's there. If Brian doesn't get suspended, they can do all the longs. He's going to be underneath first down possession type of receiver, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And Jared Cook, anywhere after the 9th round as a week starting tight end.
Exactly.
But that's the thing this year. There's so many tight ends that you could use as your number 1. That's why I kind of like to stream tight ends. Like, I'll have, like, 3 guys, not on my roster at once, but I'll have, like, 2 guys on my roster and then 1 guy in free agency that I'll kind of be looking at.
Yeah, if you don't get Gronk, Ertz, Kelce, maybe Evan Ingram, Greg Olsen type of guys, everyone else, and we'll talk more about that in our tight end show, stream the rest of them. If you don't get those 4 or 5 guys, stream. All right, the Los Angeles Chargers, quarterback Phillip Rivers, anywhere after the 8th round. He's a solid quarterback, putting up huge numbers every year. I would have him as my starter if I drafted him late. If not, he would be a great streamer. Running back Melvin Gordon, anywhere late first, early second round is your number 1 running back. I have seen him go as early 3rd round, like 3rd pick, 4th pick, early 3rd round, but usually he's not going to get out of the 2nd round.
Yeah.
Wide receivers, Keenan Allen, he's going to be your wide receiver 1 anywhere in the before the 2nd round. Take him.
I wasn't too high on the Chargers last year. I mean, I was just starting to get into Melvin Gordon last year, and then Keenan Allen, I I was all right with, but now I'm like hyped about the Chargers roster. It's like, especially their defense, like with Melvin Ingram.
Goodness, their defense is awesome.
They're just beasts.
And
the whole LA defense, like with Aaron if you put those two teams together, they'd win the Super Bowl every year.
Oh, sure they would. All right, so Mike Williams, Terrell Williams. I'm not drafting them. If I did, I'd put him on my bench. Yes, Hunter Henry's not there anymore because he's hurt. They're going to see a couple more touches, but they haven't done anything.
Yeah.
They get like 30, 40 balls. But I'm not putting my trust in any of those Williams kids. I'm not drafting them. I don't want any of them on my team. Go for it if you want to. Waste your draft pick. Go for it.
And Keenan Allen's going to be that underrated, sneak through the coverage wide receiver.
Yeah, he'll go deep sometimes. I mean, he was the one wide receiver one.
Yeah.
All right, Eli, Denver Broncos.
And that'll wrap it up for the teams. Case Keenum, he's a bye week filler. Anywhere after the 10th round, I'm not drafting him as my starter.
You can stream him.
Maybe. I mean,
watch the season.
He had a lot better wide receiving core in Minnesota.
Yeah, you're right with that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah. Devontae Booker and Royce Freeman, anywhere after the 8th round on your bench would be really nice. It helps that C.J. Anderson left and went to Carolina. So now Devontae Booker will get a lot more touches.
You're right. And
the rookie Royce Freeman coming in.
Yeah, a lot of people are going back and forth between these two guys. Booker had his chance to prove himself last year. Freeman's
with
Anderson.
CJ's injuries.
Yeah, and Freeman's the rookie, and everyone loves him, and so they're drafting Freeman before Booker. I would sit back and
I would
sit back and wait for Booker because he's been there a year or two. He knows his system. Freeman's still a rookie. So pick and choose. Eli's picking Freeman. I'll pick Booker, and we'll go from there. Wide receiver.
We should do a candy bar bet later on in the year.
Our world famous candy bar bets. We'll definitely get one going for the running back show. Good idea.
Yeah, definitely. Demaryius Thomas, the king of dropped balls. It's not even funny. Well, it is.
It's his quarterback.
It's pretty funny, but and not all of it. It's like 50% him, 50% his quarterbacks. But I'd take him as a solid 2.
Yeah.
Anywhere after in the second, third round would be nice for me.
Yeah, depending on who you team him up with. Him and OBJ would be a great pairing.
Yeah. But if he's like the only guy there, then I'll be fine if I have him as my number 1, as long as I have like a Juju Smith-Schuster guy to back him up.
Exactly. Yep.
And then my favorite wide receiver on the Broncos, Emmanuel Sanders.
You have always loved him.
Yeah.
You've always drafted him.
And you've always drafted Demaryius Thomas. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
But no, you always like Sanders. You always draft him. You always talk high about him. He's good. He gets 8 to 10 balls a game.
If he just A, had a better quarterback, and B, Demaryius Thomas was on a different team, then he'd be so good.
Yeah.
Because he has the skill. It's just his quarterback, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ever since Peyton Manning left, they'd fallen apart.
Yep.
But he's a flex anywhere after the 5th round. And then Cortland Sutton, I think he's a rookie.
Yep.
Yeah, rookie. He's a bench. I might not even draft him.
Yeah. Dynasty, that's about it. That's your best play. Dynasty play. He'll see the field, but unless Thomas or Sanders goes down, he's not going to be 30, 40 catches maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
3 touchdowns, probably a couple hundred yards.
Yeah, he won't produce much.
All right, Eli, I think we got all the teams. If not, well, you know your team. You know how they do. Draft who you want.
If we forgot your favorite team, then we're extremely sorry.
Yeah, we'll catch them up next week. So, guys, thank you again. You can find us on Twitter at Tyler Belawski. It's TYLER BELAWSKE. Find me on Twitter. Ask us questions there. We post our podcast there. We also post it on draftandsleepers.com. That's a great website. We love them there. We thank the Dynasty Dads for their questions. We thank Pizza Pete on Drafting Sleepers. We thank Matt Okada for you guys' questions. Thank you so much for helping the show out. We love you guys. Thank you. We follow back if you follow us, so give us a follow. Eli, any final thoughts?
Not really.
Okay. Well, that's our first real official episode of the season. We'll be back next week to the NFC breakdown preview show, just like we did. Then we're going to do some mock drafts. We're going to do our rankings.
We're going to probably do some interviews with some.
Yeah, we got a cool surprise.
Guys.
Yeah, we got some cool surprises coming up in a couple weeks. We'll touch base more on that. But until next time, this is the Tyler and Eli Fantasy Football Tips podcast. We tell it how it is.
See ya. I'm Eli.
And I'm Tyler. Peace.
Bye.